On August 30, 2021, the largest study in the world to date of cetaceans under professional care was published in the PLOS One journal. This project, in which 43 AZA or AMHMAR accredited institutions from 7 countries participated, was carried out with the aim of understanding the welfare of cetaceans at institutions with the highest animal welfare standards to continue improving management practices.
3 AMHMAR accredited institutions participated with a total of 105 dolphins, which constituted 48.6% of the total sample. In other words, almost half of the dolphins in the study are Mexican.
The project began in 2016, when a consortium of educational institutions from the United States invited us to participate in the project. The project took 5 years of hard work, in which data on behavior, health, and physical and social activity was collected, all through cooperative behaviors. One of the most important results of the study was the development of the app, ZooPhysioTrack, in which veterinarians can consult a database of reference values of blood and fecal samples for clinical pathology results and stress levels, which will help improve medical diagnoses.
The ratio of cortisol to DHEA helps us to identify stress levels in dolphins, and what we found was fascinating. When the dolphins present higher behavioral diversity, such as jumping, fast swimming, group interactions, among others, the levels of stress and stereotype behaviors are lower, which suggests that behavioral diversity is an indicator of positive welfare that would be helpful to monitor.
Additionally, it was found that dolphins' levels of physical and social activity varied depending on the frequency with which they received new enrichment. Researchers discovered that the frequency of new enrichment every week or month, or 2 times a year, motivates dolphins to more social behavior and exhibit more physical activity behaviors, such as swimming, jumping, and playing.
Instead, physical and social activity levels, as well as behavioral diversity, decreased with random enrichment and semi-predictable training schedules.
This is because dolphins prefer to know when they will have these positive events, which generates expectation in them, and allows them to invest their free time in games and social activities. A very interesting finding is that dolphins under professional care at accredited institutions traveled longer distances than those expected for wild dolphins.
This contradicts the belief that dolphins under professional care need wider spaces to be able to swim hundreds of kilometers like their wild counterparts.
The most surprising thing is that the distance tracking devices only recorded data while the dolphins were submerged, and not during surface swimming, so the dolphins of the study could have traveled longer distances than those reported in the results. Moreover, this research project is consistent with previous studies that indicate that dolphins relax after their training sessions, and that dolphins under professional care are less stressed and live as long or longer than their wild counterparts.
Are we saying that dolphins live better under professional care?
No, not at all. What we can take from these studies is that the paradigms and negative beliefs are not true and that, in fact, the evidence supports the opposite.
However, there are people who think that this study was carried out to disprove myths about marine mammal facilities, but the truth is that the main objective of it was to understand the factors that influence the welfare of the animals under professional care to improve our management practices, which will also benefit wild animals, since this knowledge can also be applied to them.
There are also those who say that the results were altered or manipulated at our convenience to make us look good. However, as it was stated at the beginning, the ones who carried out the process of analysis and interpretation of results were research and high education institutions outside of Mexico. Therefore, we had no way of knowing what the results were until the moment they were published.
At the end of the day, there are 2 paths. One of them is the path of sentimentalism, which romanticizes wildlife, humanizes animals, and promotes management based on alarmist beliefs, ideologies, and assumptions rather than knowledge, and clings to a movement without foundations at the expense of the honest work of the people.
The other one is the science-based path, which is guided by scientific evidence, verifiable data, and the experience of hundreds of specialists who have dedicated blood, sweat, and tears to the care of these wonderful species. Which path will you decide to follow?